Now look, we know Brand New Day's coming. We don't know who the villain is. But they got some good competition. I would say, look, to be honest, maybe like J. Jonah Jameson Up. If they fall anywhere within here, I'm going to be extremely satisfied. We are back, guys. We're back. After years and years of waiting and speculation and impatience, mostly from my end, we are officially back in Spider-Man season. Spider-Man Brand New Day, also known as MCU Spider-Man 4 or Tom Holland Spider-Man 4, is officially in production, and y'all, we have been getting absolutely spoiled with this initial first look at this suit that you're seeing on screen, and then gave us the full picture look here with this announcement video of Tom Holland walking up to the screen and showcasing the suit. Man, if this didn't make you feel something. Tom Holland walking out. Oh, look at our boy.
We ready?
We ready? Yes, we are, Tom. Yes, we are. So Spider-Man Brand New Day is officially in production. Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be directed by Destin Daniel Creed, who directed the Shang-Chi movie. He's also directed a couple of other incredible films. Short Term 12, one of my favorites that he's done. I saw that movie back in film school, and it really, really hit me in the guts. But they released these official materials, one, to get the hype going, but two, because they were going to be filming out on the streets practically, which meant we were going to be getting a lot of set photography. Now, technically speaking, it is not fair to report on leaked set photos because we here, although we talk about scoops and although we talk about rumors, we think it's very important to maintain journalistic integrity. And so we try and only reference officially released materials. That being said, oh my God, the pictures that are coming out from the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day are so freaking exciting. Particularly, I'm going to shout out this guy here, Unboxed PhD. He's a set photographer based out of the UK. This photo here, man, I know you've maybe seen this one going around with the ropes photoshopped out, but this is just Spider-Man. This photo goes crazy, dude. I have seen so many edits of this photo where like they make it look like a comic book cover. They make it look like, it just looks so good. The aura, 100%, man. 100%. This feels like a photo you would see of just Spider-Man. Now, what do we know about this movie? Very little. Very little, actually. We don't know a whole lot about what is happening with this movie. We do know Tom Holland is back. We do know that to a limited capacity, Zendaya and Jacob, Ned. Jacob, the actor who plays Ned. I can't remember his last name. We know that they're going to be coming back to a limited capacity. We know that John Bernthal's Punisher is going to be in this. And we did, after long times of rumors, finally get confirmed that Mark Ruffalo is returning as the Hulk in Spider-Man Brand New Day. But we did also learn that Michael Mando, who played the Scorpion, or the character who would eventually become the Scorpion in the first Spider-Man Homecoming movie, is also going to be coming back. So we're going to have the Scorpion in this movie. And then, of course, we do know that John Bernthal is coming back to return. So we got the Hulk, we got the Punisher, we got the Scorpion. We still have Sadie Sink in an unconfirmed role. I am still betting that it's Carly Cooper. I will stake my ground that she is playing Carly Cooper. Some people are saying that Sadie Sink is playing Gwen Stacy. I disagree. It's Carly Cooper. Calling it now. But a lot of folks are wondering, what the heck is this movie going to be about? Brand New Day is just a generalized sort of time period in the comics. It's not a particular story arc. Some people were speculating that maybe Mr. Negative and his crew were going to be the villains based on some of the information that was coming up. If you can see here, this little demon mask here that was on this little tank that's driving around the streets. Some folks were guessing that that might be a hint to the demons, which is Martin Lee, Mr. Negative's gang. So who is the actual villain? Is it Venom? Is the symbiote going to make an appearance? Because that was the post-credit tease after No Way Home, that Tom Hardy's Venom left behind a piece of the symbiote. There's so many guesses, and nobody knows for sure. But over the years, we have had many different Spider-Man villains on screen, and so I wanted to take an opportunity while we're sitting here trying to figure out who is going to be the villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Why don't we take a look back at all the villains that have gotten us here? So folks, today we are going to be building out a tier list of the villains of the Spider-Man film franchise. Now this is particularly just the Spider-Man theatrical films. I did not include television because we would be here all day. We're going to be ranking all of the villains from all the different Spider-Man movies so that we get a good idea of who is the best villain that we have seen on screen for Spider-Man, so that we know where the bar is, so we know what the competition is for whoever's showing up in Brand New Day. And we have to start all the way at the beginning. First up, our first villain, I had to look up his name. It's Dennis Carradine, and it was only officially revealed in the Spider-Man tie-in video game for the PlayStation 2. Shout out if you ever played that game. That game was awesome. But the Burglar. The first Spider-Man villain we have is the Burglar, the guy who killed Uncle Ben. And honestly, you know, he killed Uncle Ben. He's kind of a baddie for that. Not a baddie in the set, like he's a bad, like he's C-list, okay? Yeah, he killed Uncle Ben, but like he was kind of a wimp about it, and like he kind of killed himself, and so Spider-Man like didn't actually learn a lesson. Because, you know, he didn't learn like, oh, killing's bad. And then ultimately, Spider-Man in that movie keeps letting his villains kill themselves. So he could have taught Spider-Man a little bit more. Yeah, the great power, great responsibility and everything like that. Yeah, hold the door, you know. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, C-list. But next up, we have the GOAT, the Green Goblin. The absolute nemesis for Spider-Man, specifically Norman Osborn's Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie. Eagle-eyed viewers, you may notice that he's supposed to be on this list twice. He's not. I'm gonna have him on this list twice because I wanted to have OG version and Spider-Man No Way Home version. That being said, I think that we can just say S tier for both, right? I think that's fair to say. Combining, even as a standalone, as the villain in just the original Spider-Man 2002 movie, that Norman Osborn and the No Way Home Norman Osborn, both separately and together, are S tier villains. Willem Dafoe's performance is beautiful. The fact that in No Way Home you get to see him with the mask off and you get to really let that play out. But even with the mask, the scene when he's interrogating Spider-Man and he's like, I want you to join me, and you can see his eyes, you can see his mouth through the teeth. The original transition scene. He's a bit of a scientist himself. Incredible. Yeah, 2001, 2002 Goblin, phenomenal. I had nightmares as a child. And I woke up feeling hyped because I was like, I know Spider-Man kicks his ass. Also, one of the best, I would say one of the best like dying scenes in superhero villains, period. When he gets stabbed and he just goes, "Don't tell Harry." Oh, so good. So good. S tier. S tier for sure. Phenomenal. Alright, next up, we have specifically just Spider-Man 2's Alfred Molina, Otto Octavius, Dr. Ock. Now, this one is really conflicting for me because I think that Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, is one of the best Spider-Man villains in comic books. One of my big jumping on points for reading comic books, period, was Superior Spider-Man. And getting to know Doc Ock intimately in that way, and then going back years later and rereading everything leading up to it, like, he is such an interesting character and such an interesting villain. However, Otto Octavius in Spider-Man 2, I don't think gets up there as much for me. I think he has a really good arc as a pseudo mentor for Peter, but then he just gets infected by the conscious of the claws and everything. I'm tempted to go B, but I think I'm gonna go low A, because I do think, again, he has a good redemption arc. I think he teaches Peter the right lessons. I think that ultimately his hubris does get the better of him, which is a good arc for a villain. Incredible fight sequences, the subway train, or I guess it's not the subway, it's just the train. The above ground train sequence, the bank heist. I'm going to say low A tier. I'm tempted to say B, but chat, y'all were saying A, so you convinced me. We're going to say low A for me. We'll see. There's plenty of room. Moving on here to Spider-Man 3, we have Topher Grace's Eddie Brock Venom. Oh man, what a horrendous casting decision. I have come to learn more about Topher Grace as a person, and he seems like a good dude. He seems like a fine guy. But seeing that 70s show kid as Venom in that like tight suit with the spiky hair, it was just such a miss, man. Such a miss. He was just kind of a punk and really annoying and like didn't have clear motivation and clear frustration. And then when he actually becomes Venom, he just like orchestrates this wild plan for no reason. Venom is D. Spider-Man 3's Venom, D. It was cool to see Venom on screen for the first time, but nah, it was not right. Not right. We also got the new Goblin, or the proto-Goblin, or, you know, the other Goblin in that film. We got Dave Franco's Harry Osborn Green Goblin, which I'm gonna just put even lower than Venom on that D tier. His arc just felt so rushed. It felt like they had no idea what they were going for, and it was just bad. It made no sense to me. Now, this movie, this overtly stuffed movie, also had Flint Marko, the Sandman, and I'm going to say that was a good B for me. We got to see his origin. They added a little bit of complexity to his character. It turned out that he was actually the one who killed Uncle Ben, and so They had a little bit of weight to his character, which also added to Peter's rage or when he was infected with the symbiote. And he ultimately has a turning of, he has his redemption arc at the end of the movie, and he goes off to live another day. So for me, I'll say B tier. Sandman's a good B tier. Also, the effects were really, really well done. High B, low A. I think that's valid. I think low A is valid, but I'm going to stick with, he's probably going to be the top of B tier for me. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Now, moving on now, this is where the Sam Raimi trilogy ends. This is where Tobey Maguire bows out for a little bit. And in comes Andrew Garfield and Mark Webb's amazing Spider-Man movies. And the first villain we confront is the cashier robber. This one got no name, not even in the not even in the companion video games. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's like mid D tier for me. He kills Uncle Ben. He disappears. He's never to be seen again. Famously, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man goes on a rampage hunting down criminals who fit his MO because he's trying to track down the guy who kills Uncle Ben. And then he gets mixed up with so much other stuff, he never finds him. He never looks for him again. He may still be out there, robbing other convenience stores and shooting other uncles. So, for one that actually puts our Spider-Man in an arc and in a redemption story, and one that just kills Uncle Ben and disappears, D for didn't even matter. Kill. Now from there, we did have the Amazing Spider-Man. The actual villain of that movie was Kurt Connors the Lizard. And for me, I think that, what's his name? Rhys Ifans portrays him well. I like the dichotomy of Kurt Connors and the Lizard. That being said, his ultimate villain plan just didn't make a lot of sense for me. The effects were good. The design was bad. I don't know why they went with this version of the Lizard and not the one with the snout from the 90s and from the comic books that we were all familiar with. They were like, oh, well, this was his original design. It looks bad. So I'm going to say C tier, maybe high C tier for me. He does get to, kill Captain Stacy, and that's a pretty big deal. Now, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, also known as the end of Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man movies. They tried so hard to set up so much, but in the end it didn't even matter. This was the introduction of Jamie Foxx's Electro, the blue man who fell into a vat of electric eels, who was the silly goofy nerd. I've seen the spamming in chat. The silly goofy nerd who suddenly became very cool and talked with a low voice. And he was, Spider-Man's my best friend, and then he just completely abandons the entire origin. He just becomes a completely different person and loses everything about himself. The effects look cool. The blue looks cool. The way that he challenges Spider-Man to use his science brain is cool. But him as a character, bad. I'm gonna say it's better than the New Goblin for me. I know some folks might be disappointed that he's not at the very bottom, but Harry Osborn becoming Green Goblin is such an important part of his character, and they just absolutely dropped the ball on that interpretation. This is bad, don't get me wrong, but there's at least some redeeming things about it. I do think that the design of the effects on Electro was unique. I won't say it was good, it was unique. And then we also have, again, the Harry Osborn Goblin. Now, Dane DeHaan was an interesting choice. He was a bit of a left field choice for Harry Osborn. I do think that he played an interesting Harry, and I do think that his version of the Green Goblin was like a crazy person and psychotic, and like actually he kind of cooked with some of his performance. So I'm gonna say he gets high C for me, especially because like as a villain, like he kind of won, right? Like he kind of did the thing. He kills Gwen. So like I'm gonna say high C for me. It's not the best. Now my boy Rhino, my boy Paul Giamatti as the Rhino, Alexei the Russian in the big mech Rhino suit. Look, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd. I'm putting it bottom of C tier just because I love Paul Giamatti and I love that he went full Giamatti with it. But we didn't even get to see the fight. The fight that was in every single trailer. The scene with him swinging the manhole cover. The closing shot of the movie. What bullshit is that? But ultimately, that ends Andrew Garfield's run as Spider-Man, and in comes Tom Holland and the Home trilogy, where we have, in the first Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming movie, we have two Shockers, a Tinkerer, Vulture, and a Scorpion. Now, Michael Mando's Scorpion is coming back. He didn't really do anything in Spider-Man Homecoming, except for be there and be kind of interesting and have a really good post-credit scene. I'm gonna put him like maybe mid C tier because I'm like actually genuinely curious to see him come back, and I think that the performance was intriguing enough, but he didn't actually do anything. Tinkerer, I think actually this might be my hot take for the video. I think the Tinkerer might be low B tier for me because I think he's interesting and could 100% make a comeback, and I would be so down. I think that the way that he was portrayed was really interesting. I think what he added to the story and what he added to the world of like, infecting the street level criminals with these high-end technologies just because he's so invested in making more. I think that there's more that could be done there. And I would actually really love to see him come back in some way, shape, or form. This is a hot take. I am aware of this. He's not a super standout character. Like, he's not big and flashy. He's not super memorable specifically, but he's interesting enough and he challenges Spider-Man by being like a counter to him, a good foil to him. Spidey is using his science skills and his engineering and his curiosity in technology to help people, and Tinkerer is just using all of this space technology to hurt people, or at least make things that he thinks are cool to give to people who then hurt people. So I'm going to say low B just because I really think he's interesting. And again, if we see him come back, if we see him come back later, more developed, I think it would be really, really cool. So that's my hot take. That's my hot take. Take it or leave it. That being said, the two Shockers that we had in that movie, I thought were pretty fun. I probably put first Shocker below the Lizard and second Shocker above the Lizard. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Adrian Toomes, the Vulture, portrayed by Michael Keaton. The scene, do y'all remember? Y'all remember being in the movie theater, watching Spider-Man Homecoming for the first time, and the scene where he goes to open the door and Michael Keaton's just standing right there. Oh, so good. I think he's S tier for me. I think he's S tier for me. I would love to see him come back. I guess he's technically trapped in the Morbius universe. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I'm going to put him S tier. I think that he's an incredible villain. I think he challenges Peter and Spider-Man in every level. I think he's a great introduction point for Spider-Man. And I think he's up there with one of the GOATs. We are now getting into the first animated feature film. We are getting back into Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, our first Miles Morales-led Spider-Man movie, although we do have a couple Peter Parkers there. Lots of villains in this movie, lots of small tier villains, lots of big tier villains, so let's just dive into it, starting with it's not Otto Octavius. Is it Olive Octavius? It's Atona Octavius? Olivia Octavius. Thank you. Olivia Octavius, Doc Ock, played by Catherine Hahn, Agatha herself. I think she was really fun. I think the reveal of her being Doc Ock was really well done. I think that she's curious, and the way that she's like examining the multiverse stuff is really interesting, and she just kind of like opens up into her dastardly ways. Really fun. I think I put her high B. I think I put her maybe right below Sandman. Yeah, the silicone design on the claws is really interesting too. I just think her character was so well done. And again, that was a really fun twist that I wasn't expecting watching that movie. They did a good job even rewatching the movie. When she shows up earlier in the classroom footage, Miles shows up and he's like perfectly covering up her lower third name badge. So that's really fun. We do see a Green Goblin in this movie for a very limited amount of time. He is kind of drawn to the Ultimate Spider-Man massive Green Goblin design. Design is cool. It's fun that it's Green Goblin. He doesn't really do anything except show up and get his butt kicked. So I'll put him low D tier. Yeah, low D tier I think is fair. Similarly, I think we have two villains here that just kind of like show up and just have really cool designs, but not a lot happens with them, which is Tombstone and Scorpion. And in fact, I probably rank them maybe exactly in that order, because I think Tombstone is really fun to see him on screen, and Scorpion actually didn't really like his character design all that much. I thought it was cool that he spoke Spanish and had like kind of luchador style stuff going on with him, but they just didn't really add too much to the film for me. So yeah, not much happens. Room for potential. Yeah, if they show up again, cool, but I'll live, you know. And then we have the Prowler. We have the Prowler, Aaron Davis, as portrayed by Mahershala Ali, Miles's uncle, his role model, his maybe not the best role model. I think, oh man, is he S tier? I think he's at least A. I think he's at least A. He has a good arc. The thing is, look, I think the reason I put him A and not S is because he's not villainy enough in the first movie. He's got his villain moments where he chases Miles and everything like that, but I think there's not as, I don't know, actually he does have some good conflict. When he realizes it's Miles, he kind of stays choking him for a little while, longer than he needs to, maybe even. Oh shoot. And then he does, maybe he is S tier? Okay, hear me out. We're gonna put Prowler S tier, and I think I'm actually gonna bring Vulture down to top of A tier. I think I can live with that. I can live with that. And then we have the Kingpin. Yeah, but we're judging it by the individual movie in this case, so I think that's fair. Kingpin, his character design is incredible. It's so well done. If you've seen the people that have made like a magnet that it's just his tiny head and his little thing, and then just put it on like a black wall, it's such a good design. Wilson Fisk is portrayed by Liev Schreiber here. I think he does a great job. His motivation is cool. The way he fights is cool. Like I think he's really well done. The way he kills the original Peter Parker is really interesting and visceral and like villainous. I think I put him A tier. I think he's a really, really good villain. Unfortunately, this may be the only time that we get to see a Wilson Fisk Kingpin as a lead villain in a Spider-Man movie, which is sad. I would love to see Vincent D'Onofrio up against Tom Holland. And at one point that was a rumored villain. We don't know who it's going to be. But from here we move on to Spider-Man Far From Home, where there really was just the one villain, which was Mysterio. Quentin Beck Mysterio, portrayed by Jake Gyllenhaal. Really, really fun twist revealing Mysterio. I never bought it that he wasn't the villain, and I don't know that there's anybody who went into that movie thinking that he wasn't the villain. But I still enjoyed the reveal, and I still enjoyed how they kind of built up everything, and it kind of felt like a see, we hear you for all the people that are like, oh, he's just Iron Boy, he's not actually Spider-Man. And it's like, there's consequences for this. That's the point. I really liked his dynamic. I really liked what he does, and ultimately the effects that he has on Spider-Man throughout the movie, and with the post-credits scene with revealing his identity. I think for me, Mysterio is probably the highest on B tier for me. I don't think he's quite A tier, but I'm going to say highest to B tier. And then, believe it or not, the next movie is Spider-Man No Way Home, where we have the Sinister Five, the almost Sinister Six. Now, we already established up at the top that top of S tier is both Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man No Way Home's Green Goblin, because I forgot to put a second picture in here, but we're just gonna say it's both of them. Alfred Molina returns as Doc Ock in Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm gonna be honest, I significantly dislike him more in this movie. Everything that I said about what takes away from my love of Doc Ock in his version in Spider-Man 2, I think is amplified more. I think his like, I'm crazy because of the arms is played up. I think he's just a little bit too cartoonish, and his redemption arc is not nearly as satisfying in this film. So for me, Doc Ock in Spider-Man No Way Home, I think low B tier. Maybe even C tier? No, I'm gonna stick with low B tier. Now, Lizard in Spider-Man No Way Home, we're gonna say low end C tier. You know what? Let's be honest, D tier. I think Lizard in Spider-Man No Way Home, the only redeeming thing about him is the line where he's like, I was going to turn everyone into lizards. But he's just barely in the movie. He's just there to pad out the show. And he just didn't do much for me. He just didn't do much for me at all. Now, Electro in Spider-Man No Way Home, a much better rendition. Fully just abandoned everything about his character. He's, again, a completely different character. It is basically just Jamie Foxx being Jamie Foxx. But he's so self-aware. He's so funny. And I think he actually kind of challenges Spider-Man. He challenges Peter in like the, do they want to be saved redemption arc thing that they're going for. I think I also put him B tier, maybe above Doc Ock. And then Sandman for me, I think maybe I put Sandman. Oh gosh. This version of Sandman when he comes back, I think I put him low end C tier. Cause he's just kind of around. He's got a couple good jokes, but like his motivation's not a little bit clear. Like he's like, I just want to get back home, and so that's why I'm getting mean and nasty. And it's like, I don't know. Again, it just felt like they were padding out the list. Now, J. Jonah Jameson in No Way Home, who I'm putting here as a villain, because I think in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy, J. Jonah Jameson is fun, but he is not a villain. I think in No Way Home, he is 100% a villain. He's a bad person. He's an Alex Jones archetype. They got the same actor to come back and play him again. And I think he's interesting and funny and frustrating. And for that, I think I put him middle of B tier. Because every time he showed up, I had a good time seeing him. I believed in him, but also I hated him in the good way. Now we're on to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to the Spider-Verse. The last time we saw Spider-Man in a standalone Spider-Man movie, not including the Avengers movies. The last time we saw Spider-Man in the movie theater, where we had The Spot and we had Spider-Man 2099, who is an antagonist. He's basically the villain of that movie, even though he's technically a Spider-Man. I think The Spot is really, really cool and really, really promising. I think that the way that they tee up kind of his villain arc and how he slowly starts getting more and more menacing, and all the hints to what he's going to become later, I think are well executed. And to see him go from this bumbling mess to this actual terrifying threat, I think I put him high A tier. Maybe I could be convinced to put him below Mysterio, but I think I like him at the top of A. And then Spider-Man 2099, I think having a Spider-Man be the main antagonist, to have his vision for what the Spider-Verse is supposed to be, his hate for Miles, how Miles represents everything that he doesn't believe in for himself and everything like that is so interesting. I think I put him higher up, actually. Do I like him more? You know what? I think I put 2099 second spot in A tier, just a little bit below the Vulture. But I think he's a fantastic villain. He's fantastically complex. There's enough weight there. I get it. I get why he's mad and why he hates Miles. And so here we are, folks. Here is our tier list. Oh, I'll go back one more so you can actually see the whole thing. Here is our official tier list for all the Spider-Man villains on screen. Take a good look here. We have a Green Goblin sandwich, folks. We have a Green Goblin sandwich at the top and at the bottom. Now look, we know Brand New Day's coming. We don't know who the villain is, but they got some good competition. I would say, look, to be honest, maybe like J. Jonah Jameson up. If they fall anywhere within here, I'm going to be extremely satisfied. If they fall anywhere between, I'm going to say maybe Rhino and up, if the rest of the supporting cast is good, I think it'll still be okay. We cannot have a lead villain in the D tier. I expect Brand New Day will maybe have a montage of a bunch of different villains and a bunch of different smaller scale send-offs. You know, some lower end guys like we had in Spider-Verse. I think that would be fun. Some throwaway villains here and there. We know that Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, we know we have another version of Prowler. We know the Spot is coming back. I expect some more multiversal fun. Spider-Man 2099 will be there. So we got some good antagonists, some good foils for our boy Spider-Man coming up. But I would love to know, folks, who you think the best Spider-Man villain is. Where do you line up with my list? Let me know. Leave a chat, leave a comment. Make your own tier list. I'll put it in the description of the video, and I'll fix it so there's not extra lizards. But I'll throw this list. Make your own list. Send it over to me on Instagram, on Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, all the fun apps. But this is my list. I feel pretty good about this. But folks, that is actually gonna wrap it up for us today. So thank you so very much for hanging out this stream. If you watched live, which we are live every Monday on twitch.tv/stupidgorg, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. We like to catch up here. We like to talk through everything. Thank you. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel so you can catch all the recaps in case you miss stream. And if you want to know when I'm going live, make sure you're following on all the other socials so I can let you know. But folks, thank you so much for hanging out, making this tier list, for watching Movie News Monday. Really appreciate y'all. I hope you're going out to the movies. I hope you're watching some good stuff at home. And I hope you're seeing some cool, not AI slop out there. But folks, thanks again for stopping by, and I'll give you my sign out again since it's so good, and I will see y'all at the movies. Good night. Have a good rest of your week, everybody. See you next time.